willing to debate anybody over wrestling, even if it's somebody I've faced before, and I'm willing to always face them whenever you can get it together, and I've never backed down. How is it I forfeit? Just explain that to me. Explain to me that I'm the one guy that's been on all the NoDQ great debates except one, which I think was Robbie versus Jeff. Classic there. We need more of that, by the way. And yet you forfeited me, but I'm willing to be on it. I never backed down. I just want the logic there. And then we can move on to our show.
Well, we set up a time, and you said you can't do it.
You never set up a time.
We did set up a time this Saturday, 10 p.m. Eastern.
And I told you before anybody even said this Saturday was a show, I said I have personal obligations. So what we've always done for any show, we set up a day where everybody can be there. So now explain that. You are trolling me. I'm slaying you right now. You trolled me. I just need you to admit that, because I'm going to also say another important announcement right now, and I think some people will appreciate this.
I'll just leave it at this. Jargo might appreciate this. 311 said there's always an excuse when you need one.
But what's the excuse? I never committed to doing a show this Saturday. A matter of fact, you said, hey, let's do the panel about The Rock this Saturday. And I said, I can't. I got something going on long before there was ever any debate allegedly scheduled. So you are trolling me, bro. And this is why I'm just calling you out. What's your logic? You just admit you were trolling. That's all.
Mr. Tito says you refused to reschedule.
No, I didn't. I said, let's get a date going. I actually even said we will postpone the panel and do something. And I think Tito said, oh, no, I don't want to change what you already have scheduled. These are the things I've said. You are trolling. You just don't want to admit it in front of your audience. But I am the troll slayer, and this is what I have to do. And I have a following that expects me to come out and do this. So just admit that you were trolling. You know I'm always available for a debate.
If I was going to troll, I would go live on Saturday, and you would be a no-show.
But here's the thing. When have you ever scheduled? We've always rescheduled the NoDQ review because of holidays or because, say, I was out personal leave. You never said I missed the NoDQ review because we rescheduled it. You are clearly trolling because you are the king of trolls. You just need to admit that.
We ready to move on?
No, I'm waiting for you to admit that you were a troll, that you trolled me.
Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat, says, is Madcap Moss more over than T-Bar? No, T-Bar, because he stole my name, is at least somewhat more over than Madcap Moss.
I have 4 topics here, guys, but I'm not moving on until Aaron just comes clean and says, yes, I was trolling. You don't have to apologize. I just asked that you tell your audience that you were trolling me because you like to get the rise, which you're getting right here. But let's face it, I've always been available to do a debate, and just admit that. Just admit that you trolled me by saying, oh, you must have forfeited. So that's what I'm waiting, Aaron.
I think you trolled by even saying you would face Mr. Tito because we set up a time and you're like, nope, can't do it. So
you didn't set up a time. No, you didn't. I said I can't do it
this Saturday, 10 p.m. Eastern. Let's do it.
And I already told you that I can't do anything. We were going to do the Rock panel Saturday, and I said I can't do it.
No, we were going to do it Sunday. Talked about a
debate. So you even knew. Sunday. No, it was going to be Saturday.
You mixed up your dates, Virtue.
No, it wasn't. It was Saturday. I got the direct messages, bro.
Well, show it to us.
It was Saturday. You show me where you said that. Exactly. It's a stalemate.
Right in the chat room.
You are the king of trolls, and you're putting me in a position, and I'm not going to back down. And we are going to stalemate the beginning of this show until you admit that you trolled me. I don't even care about the other party.
I did not troll you.
Yes, you did.
You're trolling me right now by not moving on here.
I never told you I was available to do any show this Saturday. So how can I forfeit? We schedule a show on a date everybody can do it, right? You haven't done that yet because as you thought you were scheduling a show Saturday, I said I can't do it. So
when are you available? Why don't we can just clear that up now?
Exactly.
Like Tito's in the chat.
He's available, except for
when can we do it?
Time, then he's not available.
Yeah, when can we do it? Let's do it. Let's book it.
We've tried numerous times, and every time he's unavailable for some reason.
No, you haven't. What do you mean? I'm always available.
It doesn't matter. Hey, everyone's here. Let's book it. Let's do it right now. We'll do it live on the air. Let's
book it right now. Virtue. You tell the time. It's got to be 10 p.m. Eastern because Tito has kids.
Then let's do it the following Saturday. Let's not do the rock panel. Remember, we never scheduled that officially.
I'm unavailable that Saturday, so we got to do a Sunday.
So, all right, you're unavailable. So what are you forfeiting? See, why do you say I forfeited something when I said I was never available?
I forfeit being the moderator for that Saturday. If you guys can find a different moderator, do it Saturday.
Well, Thanksgiving, obviously, we can't. We're not going to do anything for Thanksgiving.
Oh, dude, I'll moderate the shit out of that. That sounds awesome.
Listen, here's what I'm going to say then. Any day except this Saturday or Thanksgiving, any day evening at 10 p.m.
This day or that day, or the third day,
you have
or
all of your
day,
shows.
or the fifth day.
Granted, Aaron, you have all of your shows you have to work around too, and I know you don't like doing 2 live streams on the same night. So there you go. I just gave you any day other than this Saturday. Any day. Let's do it on Thanksgiving. I'll do it on Thanksgiving.
Well, I'm not sure Mr. Tito
will
be able to do that.
So Robbie, right? Am I not on record saying I'll do it pretty much any time here?
You said any day but that Saturday. So I say we come to an agreement, and I say we just schedule something right now.
Yeah.
We'll get it on the books. We'll get it on the books. It'll be a tentative in our Outlook calendars, as I like to do at work, and we'll go from there.
What will happen is somebody else, the other party, will not commit to it, but I'll be the one that forfeits somehow because it's a troll, right? It's the troll slayer. Aaron's trying to pull the troll slayer out of me, but guess what? The reason why I called you out on this is because I'm retiring that gimmick on Twitter. No more troll slayer, nothing but prayers. But so what's the reschedule then, Aaron? You're the boss.
I guess
when are we doing this great debate between myself and Mr. Tito?
I guess the Sunday after Survivor Series or after
write it down. Robbie, are you the witness? I know you're here too, Jargo. Are you the witness for this, Robbie?
What date is this?
I'm down. I'm for it.
10 p.m. because Tito's got kids.
That's fine.
So what day is that? What is that? Is that December 1st or some shit? When is this?
Might be November 29th, 30th, something like that. No, I think it's the 28th.
Sunday after Thanksgiving. So it would be the Sunday the 29th, I think.
Okay, is Tito agreed to this time? Are we getting this done now?
I'm not sure if he's here. He was here a moment ago. If he's here.
So we got a whole show here, and we'll see what happens in the chat, but I'm down for it. And right, I've always been down for it. Aaron makes up these rules like I committed to do it this Saturday, and I never did.
Well, you just trolled our audience away, so let's go ahead and move on with the show now.
Again, you're the one. You had the opportunity to clear this up on Twitter.
I think it's you.
You had the opportunity to clear this up on Twitter. I let you know in private chat, online. I said, if you don't clear this up, I'm going to bring this up at the beginning of the video and hold it hostage. You chose not to because you want to be the king of trolls. And
I think you're scared of Tito, and now you're trying to call me a troll.
Dude, I've been on the videos with him. What are you talking about? I've never backed down.
And he beat you, I think.
And whose opinion?
The general public.
Again, and you will never admit that you were trolling and did something wrong, and I'm calling you out. Now you got egg on your face. People see my tweets all the time that I'm willing to debate anybody at any time. Never committed to a time. I'm available any
Tito
night.
just said you're the forfeit king.
Okay, then we sit here. When's he gonna accept my challenge? Right? Or like Robbie, right? Did we not pick a date? Why are they ducking this?
There is a date that's proposed. We're just seeing if it works for Tito.
Exactly.
I mean, I feel like this has stalled. We have come to a grinding halt.
Because Aaron had the opportunity to clean this up and not make this part of the show, and he failed to do it because he has an image, right? He's protecting his image of he says whatever he wants. He trolled me. I called him out on it, and now he's sitting here.
If setting up a time and you decline is trolling and making an excuse.
Setting up a time means everybody agrees to it. I did not agree to any time yet. Right, setting up a time means everybody agrees to it, and then if somebody
said pick a time, we picked a time, and you said, "Oh no, I can't do that." So it sounds like an excuse to me.
No, it didn't. You guys
can make time. It's very easy to make time. First of all,
Aaron, there was supposed to be a panel about The Rock this Saturday night, and I said,
we never said Saturday night. I never said Saturday night.
It was Saturday night. Saturday night you picked up. I'm good for this Sunday then. You said Saturday in the messages. That's why I said I can't do it. See, you don't even know. You're so flustered. You don't even know what day you picked. If you want to do it Sunday, let's do it Sunday. So with that said, I was trying to not have to talk about AEW Full Gear as long as I could. But
hey, I just want to throw. I'm available on Saturday. Just so everybody knows, I'm available on Saturday. Just so it's out there.
Well, yeah, let's see him in a debate. But I'm granted, right? I want to do this next debate. However, Aaron's spinning it because he's trying to be the king of trolls, which he is. If you've ever been over on that Facebook forums page, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But guys, Robbie, did you catch Full Gear? Now, I know I sent you the result list. So Adam Page finally won the AEW World Championship.
Yep.
You had the MJF match. Who did MJF beat? Darby Allin, right? That was a pretty good match. And of course, you had the Inner Circle versus America Top Team.
Didn't care about that at all.
You had the women's match. Daniel Bryan versus Miro. Sorry, wait. Well, that's what you call him, right, Robbie? But it's
Daniel Bryan versus Rusev. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So what's your take here on Full Gear? Now, I know Aaron's already recapped that, so we're going to spend some time with you and Jargo's thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, MJF. I'm not the biggest Darby Allin fan. I'll be real with you. I don't like the skateboard tax thing, and I think he was also part of the match with the fluffy biscuits as a weapon at a pay-per-view a long time ago, and that's just not really my thing. But MJF, I mean, I think everything that guy does is gold. Really upset that FTR continues to be buried by AEW. I'm really not sure what they're doing there. They were basically brought in to put over the Young Bucks, I think, for an ego thing, and they've pretty much been off TV like 60% of the time since that's all happened. The Daniel Bryan match was good. I did like seeing that he tapped out Rusev. I thought that was good because and a lot of times people pass out anymore. You just don't see a lot of actual submissions, and I thought that was entertaining. I don't care about Cody Rhodes at all. I think he's pretentious. I think he just Cody Rhodes right now is kind of what Roman Reigns was a few years ago to the audience, not in terms of talent or anything like that, but he's kind of hated like that. Britt Baker is always fun to watch. CM Punk is interesting. I actually thought Eddie Kingston is something that just like kind of befuddles me sometimes because everything about Eddie Kingston says that that shouldn't be something I'm a fan of. It's just like, but it all comes down to what it is for me. The most important thing in wrestling is his character. Eddie Kingston is one of the most believable people in wrestling. When he talks, I believe him. When he's in the ring, it looks like he's there to fight. I thought that was great. Again, I don't care about the Inner Circle at all anymore. Not really a thing. And honestly, Adam Page, I give a big round of applause. I did not anticipate Omega dropping it to Hangman. I hope Hangman hangs onto that belt for a long time. I hope it's not a transitional thing to one of the new WWE guys or whatever WWE guy that Tony signs in the next couple of weeks. But overall, Hangman is their homegrown organic talent. He's a world champion, and overall the pay-per-view was good.
What do you think that the match that went the least amount of time on the show was Punk and Eddie Kingston? Are you a fan of all of these 15, 20 plus minute matches? I mean,
if it warrants it. If it makes sense, absolutely. I think having a match go long just for the sake of everyone getting their signature moves in, everyone doing their stuff, I think that's it's contrived, and I don't really, it's not really a big thing to me. I think if you can have an 8-minute match where you tell a good story and it's concise, we don't need to have all these kickouts, all these false finishes, things like that. Not everything needs to be a 30-minute match, but that's kind of the modern style. And we'll see in the next 30 days if I change my mind on how all this stuff works out. But yeah,
the super click, because they actually did not go over.
The super click is Cole and the Bucks, or right?
Yep,
yeah.
Yep.
I think there is something happening there story wise where someone is going to turn on somebody. Because, from what I've noticed in All Elite Wrestling is they have a lot of good heels. They have some really good top heels. They don't necessarily have a lot of main event baby faces, especially considering Daniel Bryan this past week dropping the WrestleMania F-bomb on live TV. So I think I think someone needs to turn face, and we need to have some top faces in the company that are believable challengers to some of these titles. I know Punk has wrestled some of these jobbers and things like that on TV, and it's like a feel good thing, but we need some top baby faces in wrestling right now to kind of prop these up. It's the problem with Roman Reigns right now. There's not many good faces left in professional wrestling these days.
Now, is the pay-per-view still $50 for AEW? Why did I see something that it's $55? What was I seeing on that? Was that?
I actually got a free code on Reddit to watch it, so that's what I did.
There you go. So Jargo, what'd you think of Full Gear?
I thought the show was good. I didn't think it was great. It seems like every time AEW does a show, it is suddenly the newest, greatest thing that's ever happened in the world of professional wrestling. Like people were calling, oh, that was the show of the year. And I'm like, really? I'm not even sure it was the AEW show of the year. I mean, All Out was really freaking good, right? I don't like the way AEW structures their cards because to me, they start with MJF and Darby. Then you have FTR and the Lucha Bros. And then you go to Danielson versus Miro, and that crowd is gassed immediately, like 3 matches in. And everything from there on felt kind of flat to me until you got to Punk versus Kingston. So that whole kind of middle section is still a little bit of an issue. I think these shows are too long. Yeah. I think if you want to do a really good wrestling show, it should top out at 3 hours, not 4.5, 5 hours. I agree. I that's always been one of my issues with the AEW shows. They gas out that crowd, and by the time Hangman and Kenny is going on and they're 20 minutes into the match, it's like this crowd's getting kind of restless. And I think that match would have come across much better with a more intense crowd that hadn't been gassed out throughout the night. All in all, I thought the show was good. Didn't think it was great. Just to respond a little bit to a couple of things that Robbie had to say there. Now that you have a babyface champion, you should have a whole bunch of heels, right? I mean, because that's what you want to do. You want to line up all the heel challengers for the babyface champion. In the meantime, you start building up the babyfaces for when a heel champion takes the title off of Hangman, right? So that'll be the next year there, give it or take, inside of AEW. I also think that Kenny is going to be coming back as a babyface. We saw a little bit of tension between Adam Cole and Kenny Omega on Dynamite, and it seems like we're going back to kind of the end of the ROH story before Kenny Omega murdered Adam Cole inside of the BTE universe. Like we're going to just kind of pick up where that 5 years never really happened. People remember the Kenny versus Cody feud, and they went over the IWGP championship, and Cody was a heel inside of Ring of Honor doing the whole Bullet Club thing. That all started with Adam Cole. It was US Bullet Club versus New Japan Bullet Club, and the Bucks were kind of the step kid who went back and forth between the parents every weekend. So it's going to put it. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out, but I think Kenny's going to come back a babyface and be positioned opposite of Adam Cole. But I don't know if that happens before like Double or Nothing, because Kenny's got some issues that he needs to get taken care of. Kenny's never been healthy inside of AEW. I think he's always been at about 70%. He was hurt before he left his New Japan run. So if we can get back to 100% of Kenny Omega coming back as a babyface opposite of swarmy dick Adam Cole, I think that'll be good for the company, whether the championship is involved or not.
And Jargo, you and I talked about this. At least with this show, there were things on the line. Like Bryan Danielson earned a title shot. Adam Page became the AEW World Champion. Like, Survivor Series, which we're going to be talking about later in the show, the format needs to change. There's just nothing means anything. So the props to Full Gear here for having things on the line in a wrestling show like it should be. Aaron, you want to add anything to this? I know you do your recap. So,
well, Jargo pretty much nailed it. And I actually did think it was a great show, but I do think it's too long. I would prefer 3 hours. That's what I loved about NXT. 2.5 hours, 5 matches, perfect time for a wrestling show. And it's kind of
hot, start to end.
It's kind of how it works with $50. They got to make sure you get your money's worth, and they got to make it an extra long show. But I think it does hurt a little bit when you're sitting there for 4 hours, and everyone is going to get fatigued at some point. For some, maybe 4 hours. If you're Noah Foster, you're going to love 4 hours. I mean, it's just, you cannot get enough wrestling. And not a knock on him. I mean, if you love wrestling, then, you watch what you love, But for me, I think 3 hours is the perfect length of time for a pay-per-view. And other than that, great show. I did want to say this. Mr. Tito did not give us an answer about the 28th. So maybe I'm being trolled now. I think maybe both of you were trolling me at this
Dude,
point.
Aaron, I'm not. Like, I didn't like the reason why I hijacked the show is because whether it's miscommunication or whatever, I was shocked that you said that because you know I want to do these. You know I'm always available. So I figured
Are you trolling me though, saying you want to do it, but then you really don't?
Dude, I've done it. I've done 2 shows with Tito. I've done debates. I started the debates with
People are
Stephen
saying
Osborne.
that he won, and maybe you don't want to face him a third time and take another loss.
That's first of all, people. My whole following says I won. His little troll following says he won. That's how debates go. But you obviously just wanted to stir things up, but yet you call me the drama queen, which I'd rather be a drama king, by the way, not a queen. But yet you sit there and stir shit up, and I call you out on it. I know it makes you mad, but that's why you have me here to make things interesting. Yes, I want to do the show.
I think you're both trolling me. I don't think either of you really want to do a third debate.
Robbie, you want to do a debate with me or Jargo?
Yeah, I'll do a debate. Here's the thing.
Anybody that wants to
I'll tell you what.
me.
I'm going to ask all 4 of my followers and fans to watch the debate, and I'll tell you what they say, and we'll use that as the barometer of who won.
And maybe I'm plugging in the debates for this right now. Maybe it's all part of my diabolical plan. But we got to talk about WWE. People are here to listen to us talk about World Wrestling Entertainment. All right, guys. So Bray Wyatt is gone, right? The Fiend is gone. What? Alexa Bliss is not doing her thing anymore. They always like to have their little weird supernatural gimmick. Is there anybody right now in WWE, right now on TV that I'm forgetting that's kind of got a weird main roster supernatural thing going on right now? Because it seems like they always have Kane, Undertaker. They've had Boogeyman. They've always had something there, right? I don't think they currently have anything, which makes me think, why did Jeff Hardy make these comments about Willow? Robbie, could we see Willow pop up on WWE TV to be a weird supernatural thing because they love to produce that stuff? Just a quick topic, but I think it's coming, man.
I think it definitely could be. I wished we could have had that 5 to 7 years ago. I don't know if I love Jeff Hardy, right? I have both Hardys. He's my favorite performer. I think he's a bit old. I think he's a bit late in his career to have some kind of resurgence push. But hey, if they do a supernatural thing, they can cover up some of the other deficiencies he has. And, Kane made a career of wrestling like he was 75 years old, outside of some of those bursts of strength moments that he had. But, the slow sit, the slow walk. Undertaker takes 45 minutes to get to the ring. Yeah, we could probably hide some of those things about Jeff Hardy. Willow is, I think it depends. Who does he feud with? And it all boils down to that, man. WWE can do anything. What WWE has shown me these past 3 years is they can't write compelling story unless it accidentally falls in their lap, like Charlotte and Becky. I have very little faith in the writers of World Wrestling Entertainment.
Hardy was mentioning that he'd like to pitch it and say, and you know how that goes. They don't want to hear your ideas. They want to do their ideas. But I'm just thinking, how do you get some mileage if you have on Roman Reigns to have him stay champion longer and give him some filler feuds? Okay, Jeff Hardy versus Roman. No, that's a SmackDown match. Roman's going to crush him. No matter who it is, But if you make Willow and you do something now it's like another Finn Balor demon, you might get a pay-per-view match out of it, at least to make people interested. And I don't know. Well, it's probably not going to happen, but WWE and their supernatural obsession.
Well, why don't we just put Jerry Lawler in charge of it, and he can just have a bunch of monsters fight Roman until the next time he's going to fight a real champion?
Yeah.
If anyone remembers those, those Memphis days when Jerry Lawler would take over booking and all of a sudden he'd be fighting like the Wolfman or something crazy like that? Am I old?
No. Memphis was hot, man. Yeah. Jargo, any thoughts on this? I can see WWE do this, by the way.
I mean, I could see WWE doing it. I don't think it would be good. Need we remember what they did with broken Matt Hardy when they got a hold of that? Robbie says, that he wished this would have happened 5 to 7 years ago. It did in Impact Wrestling, and it didn't draw any viewers there either.
Right.
That's the vacuum known as Impact Wrestling, though.
Well, but I mean, okay, so you're a PG version of that where it's even more cartoony and geared towards 8-year-olds. That's the answer.
But they want to sell the masks. It'd be a heel or it'd be a baby face.
That's what Rey Mysterio is there for. And that's the problem. He would be a baby face. And Willow the Wisp is not cool as a baby face. You need him going out there citing his Edgar Allan Poe kind of stuff, right? I mean, I don't think it would work. Yeah, it would, get Jeff over for maybe a month until Roman beats his face off, and then he can go to AEW and hang out with Matt, and they can do whatever the hell Matt's doing these days.
Big money, Jeff.
Yeah, well, I don't see it doing much of anything. I mean, you bring up the supernatural characters. Well, they had Aleister Black and they let him go. So by all means, yes, let's do an 8-year-old version of Willow the Wisp. And as Tony Schiavone would say, that'll put asses in seats.
I feel that even if it's not that, though, they will find their weird mythical character.
They have one. You're forgetting someone.
Yeah, who did I forget?
It's Ricochet. That guy has this uncanny ability to not get fired when, by all means, he deserves to be fired.
That's power.
That's supernatural, man. That guy's been on TV for like 5 years straight, and he's done literally nothing.
I mean, I like Jeff Hardy to have one more decent run and get like a main event. I don't know. I'd like to see it happen. Aaron Rift.
Well, I think, Robbie, you were a little harsh on Ricochet. I like the guy. I mean, I think the way he's been booked hasn't done him any favors, and the guy's pretty.
He should have had a manager. He would have been fine if he had a manager.
Yeah, I mean, the promos were not good, but the guy could go in the ring. I just feel like you're being a little harsh on him.
He doesn't fit the WWE style, though. There's really not many people there who can give Ricochet the match, because all those guys who would give Ricochet those great matches were in NXT, and now they're all in All Elite Wrestling.
Yeah, Ricochet is one of those guys who will be immediately more over the second he steps in the door at AEW.
100%. I agree with that.
Yeah, Ricochet, I think, would definitely do better.
We had Papa Shango. Like they're gonna pull something. They're gonna try to make a new weird. You know what's gonna happen.
So Tito just said, "LOL." Tito's not responding. He's trolling us. I mean, he's trolling me at least. So
well, anyway, I've retired.
I might have to apologize to you because I think Tito's the one pulling the strings here.
Look,
I wonder if he had a conversation with you and maybe you declined privately to him. And
no, I've never. I won't decline. I just told you
out in the public to double cross me and make me look foolish.
I like how we're threading this throughout the show. I just told you, Robbie vouched for me. I'm willing to face him. Let's just pick the right date. So that's fine. I want to use this though. Also on the platform, I am retiring the Troll Slayer gimmick. You can still interact with me on Twitter. I'll still get hot about things, right, Robbie, like you do. We'll have fun on Twitter. But, I'll pull back, right? The NoDQ Galaxy is great. And I know most of the people I pick on is not really in the NoDQ Galaxy bubble, but you guys are great. So, I'm going to retire that. We had fun while it lasted. So, Aaron, you got me to retire the Troll Slayer gimmick. So you can put that on your mantle. Okay.
All right. Well, there you go.
Anything else you want to add about Willow, or do you want to move on?
Well, I don't think it's going to happen because I think it's kind of a goofy gimmick, and I just don't see WWE wanting to invest anything into it. Like the thing about Broken Matt was that it was kind of a viral thing. It got a lot of attention for the Hardys. Did Willow really do anything for Impact? I don't think so. I don't think it generated any kind of buzz. And I think it's too little, too late. I mean, when Broken Matt was in WWE, that was like a year or two after the stuff in Impact. It's been so many years since Willow has done anything. I just don't think there's really that much demand for it. So I think it's unlikely that it happens. I think Jeff is going to be what he's been doing the past several years. He's going to be the veteran that will be out there. He'll wrestle against Roman Reigns, maybe on SmackDown. He'll lose. He'll be a good hand.
He has a new theme song now, back to No More Words, right? Did they officially go back to that?
Well, he had that now for like 6 months, and they haven't really done jack with him. He did.
Well, no, I'm just saying that's what the fans wanted, and that's all they're going to get, right? No big push, just that entrance theme.
I mean, I think that's it. I think Matt or Jeff's just going to be the veteran that's around to get the crowd pop, and he'll have some good matches with the up and comers, and that's going to be it.
Well, now, Jeff's Teflon at this point. Like, wins and losses do not matter to Jeff Hardy. He's a legacy star that crowd just loves to see. They get to hear his theme song. They see him in the face paint. He goes out, he gets his ass kicked, and everybody still loves Jeff Hardy at the end of it. So,
hey, was he the first man to beat Karrion Kross?
Yes.
Ooh,
I also heard Jeff. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Jeff Hardy's also the same guy, man. He's a cool dude, and he'll just go out and get plastered with you after the show.
Yep.
He'll even give you a ride home.
Well Robbie. All right. So
I'm going to be gone for a month. All right. I got to get him
well
in.
played.
Before we go to the Survivor Series topic main event, which I think will bring some rage out here, let me go around the table and ask this question. So in all of wrestling right now through November 18th, 2021, what angle, group, faction, right, wrestler is most, you can pick whatever. Just that's your general topic. Is most intriguing to you, and we're going to talk all wrestling. It doesn't have to be WWE or AEW, Jargo. It can be anything. But I really, and if you have like an honorable mention too, I just want to see if we have any similarities, and if one of you guys brings up something that I might turn my head about and maybe watch and try to like and see if I can get invested in that. Jargo, I'll start with you. Like, what's your number one in 2021?
I mean, my number one in 2021 is the same as it was in, 2016 at this point. And the answer is Kazuchika Okada, the best pro wrestler on the face of the planet. He's preparing for Wrestle Kingdom. He's going to slay the entire main event scene over in New Japan Pro Wrestling. He's going to separate the titles. He's going to come over to AEW. I mean, Jim Ross says Kazuchika Okada's name more in an episode of Dynamite than I do over the course of the day. And I can't shut up about the freaking guy, right? I mean, like, I feel like Okada is in for another one of those huge Okada championship reigns kicking off January 4th inside of the Tokyo Dome. And I think it's going to cross multiple continents the way that they're kind of setting things up.
So let me ask you this, right? A few years ago, Okada had the, Meltzer, right? Oh, Wrestle Kingdom, right? In the feuds with Omega, the matches with Omega. Why, since AEW has been a thing and Omega's over here now, why do I feel that the New Japan buzz from the major people that used to talk about it has went away? Like, are they fair weather fans? Jargo, I know you're a diehard, right? You love New Japan, I get it, right? You've always been that way, but like Okada should still be up on that pedestal, and why isn't the Meltzers of the world talking about him? Like, was it the pandemic?
Well, the pandemic certainly did not do New Japan Pro Wrestling any kind of favors. That's absolutely for certain, especially when it comes to getting in the Western and gaijin talent, right? So that really cut down interest. Obviously, when the Elite came and started AEW, that seriously cut into the New Japan Pro Wrestling audience. And the other thing is, not that Okada has fallen off, but when you're on top for 720 days, when you lose the championship, you go down the card a little bit and you've got to kind of rebuild yourself. And he's just now climbing back into that main event kind of scene and going out and having Okada matches after winning the G1 climax. It looks like the Wrestle Kingdom is going to be 3 days this year, and it's going to be Kazuchika Okada versus Shingo Takagi night 1, versus Will Ospreay on night 2, and versus Kota Ibushi on night 3.
Robbie, 3 nights. Jargo told me that before.
That's a long time.
We're just getting used to 2 nights of one event. New Japan's going to 3.
Yeah,
that's because Japan has some of the most dedicated fans in the world, and they have a lot more talent over there than we do in the States. So
absolutely. So I mean, when you see that elevate, and it wouldn't surprise me to see Kenny Omega show up inside of the Tokyo Dome, simply because of something he said on Dynamite when he said, "I can't rebuild myself here." Well, where is Kenny Omega going to rebuild himself? Probably the same place he built himself originally, which is in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Yeah. So I think there's going to be a lot of intrigue around New Japan over the course of the next 2 to 3 months once Wrestle Kingdom gets up and running. So to me, that's what I'm really interested in wrestling right now.
Fair enough. All right, Robbie, this is going to be a good one. And like I said, if you have an honorable mention too, because you can't really decide, that's fine.
Oh no, I have a very strong answer for this.
Yeah.
No one.
Nothing. No angle.
No. There is. Okay, so angles maybe. I think the Charlotte and Becky thing is intriguing to me because it's real.
Okay.
And Charlotte is just going through her thing. She's having boatloads of plastic surgery. She's alienating people in the back. She is in a downward spiral, VH1 behind the music, downward trend into some horrible place. And I'm here for the ride, man. I'm going to pop some popcorn. I'm going to watch the drama unfold. But that's pretty much it. You know, I love Roman Reigns. I love that whole bloodline thing, but I mean, it's kind of been the same thing for a few months now. And while it's interesting and the matches are good, I need to see something different. And I'll kind of go into, you know, why I say, though, no one's really that intriguing to me at the end of the show, because I'm going to go into a little bit of my plans for the next 30 days to see if I can cleanse myself of my negative addiction to hating everything in wrestling. But I don't know. I mean, I think outside of that, nothing really piques my interest. Nothing is really like grabbing me. Nothing's really pulling me in. I've never been a guy that could just like, I'm not a big fan of cold matches. You know what I mean? If I see two big names fight, it's like, okay, outside of like Lashley and Lesnar, there's really nothing, a match they could put together that I'd be really interested in. I need to see story, and the story has to evolve. And that's the biggest problem with the Bloodlines. It's stagnant. I think it's still one of the best things out there. It's not doing anything different. So honestly, outside of this one match of Survivor Series, Becky and Charlotte, and that is just because it accidentally landed right in their lap to deal with. It's not something that their writers ever came up with, and their writers could never come up with something that interesting. But outside of that, man, I feel like wrestling is getting a little stagnant, and I think things need to start changing. And we all thought it would with the Punk and the Daniel Bryan stuff and all that stuff in AEW, but you know, I know people are going to get mad when I say it. It's the biggest drop ball in the history of wrestling. They have to go somewhere with this, but I am nearing my limit as a fan of just waiting for it to happen, because I've been waiting since 2013 for things to pick back up. And I just don't really think it has, at least in the States. Maybe I need to connect with Jargo and get me hooked up with this New Japan stuff. And maybe I can find that fandom again, but WWE, TNA, Impact, AEW, there's some great stuff on it. I just feel all those companies are so top heavy, and they're just becoming parodies in themselves, and they're just kind of coasting through life. I don't know.
I think CM Punk cut the second best promo of his career last night on Dynamite.
I mean,
seriously, it was incredible. He didn't say one word, but body language spoke freaking volumes, and he big leagues MJF and Punk. How's that not on your list of like,
I mean, it's
okay,
on mine.
This is going to be freaking good, right?
I mean, it just depends. I have not seen Tony Khan book a big match like that with those guys. I mean, CM Punk, I know I make this joke and it's kind of hyperbole, but it's kind of how I feel. This dude's wrestling jobbers on Rampage, getting less than 650,000 viewers. If they're not going to treat CM Punk like a big deal, why should I? If they're going to be wrestling these no-name guys and going 25 minutes with Daniel Bryan and CM Punk, two of the biggest names in the company, against these just random guys, like, that doesn't tell me that guy's a big attraction and a big deal. You don't see Brock Lesnar come out back in the day with Spike Dudley and go 35 minutes and have 5 near falls, because the hierarchy of stardom is there. They're trying to break it and be too clever for their own good. And to me, it's pulling me out. So that's just, like I said, yes, MJF, CM Punk, that potentially could be one of the greatest feuds of the last 10 years. I don't have the faith right now in either of those companies to give it to me.
Now, Robbie, like last week, we were talking about like what should, Punk and Danielson be doing. And of course, here we are now. Bryan Danielson's going to be getting a shot at the AEW title, and Punk and MJF, which is something a lot of us have been clamoring for right out of the gates.
Sure.
And so in a lot of ways, Dynamite did some good stuff. AEW did some good stuff this week. Aaron.
All right, we got a couple of super chats. Let me get to those. Mr. Tito. All right, Mr. Tito's chiming in now. Did not accept the challenge or declined the challenge. He sent in $2. He says, "Virtue drama dried up the super chats tonight. Told ya." God
bless your $1.99. God bless, my friend.
I guess so. Well, he apparently makes enough money to throw us a bone every now and then. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Says, "Is Madcap Moss more over than Marco Stunt?"
Who is Madcap Moss? I've never even heard that name.
Mr. Tito asked the same question.
Okay.
Madcap Moss is the sidekick And Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat, said, is Madcap Moss more over than Mr. Tito? What do you think?
Devil's advocate, I did see a Mr. Tito sign at AEW. I've never seen a Madcap Moss sign in a crowd ever.
You know what? That is true. So
just being fair.
Yeah,
as much
talk
as
about a Benedict. Talk about a Benedict Arnold here. Earlier in the chat, I think Tito was like, "Get off the AEW Full Gear topic." Z. Yet at an AEW event, he had somebody put a Tito sign there. Huh? That's weird. And I remember in a debate, he was defending AEW before. What? Like, talk about trolling, confusion. But anyway.
I think we know who the new troll master is of NoDQ.
Well, I retired. I admit, if he wants to take that, man, that's fine. I retired it. I told you, man.
So you're not going to slay.
I needed this show. I needed this show to get that out there. And like I said, if it hindered the show in any way tonight, that's fine.
I mean, we need somebody to counteract Mr. Tito with all.
It's going to be better for us in the future, right? So that's why I had to get that off my chest out. But Aaron, you need to come up with. I don't know if there's other super chats or not. So do that, and then you need to come up with your most intriguing thing.
All right. Arthur Jones sent in a $5 super chat. No comment, but thank you very much for that, Arthur. Much appreciated.
He felt bad. Yeah.
His comment afterwards, he said Robbie Vice is his favorite NoDQ review panel member.
I mean,
you just missed it. It's fine. Just trust me, it's there. I promise.
I'll take your word for it. All right. So what intrigues me about wrestling right now? Well, not much. Maybe CM Punk and MJF. I like Bryan Danielson going heel. I definitely find that interesting. As far as WWE goes, I really like the Roman Reigns stuff, but I agree with what was said earlier. I think that it is starting to get a little stale, and part of the problem is he just doesn't have a top-tier babyface to go against. That's definitely a problem. I really wanted to see The Rock versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. I think that is the right time to do it. I think waiting another year until the California WrestleMania is too long.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of not really intrigued about WrestleMania at this point. Like Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, it's fine, but The Rock is the money match in my opinion. That's the match I think everybody wants to see. And I'm not sure what else you do. Does Roman Reigns lose the title to have him chase it for a while? Like, what do you do with the guy? It just feels like him as champion for another year and a half. How do they make that work without any top-tier baby faces to go against him? I don't know. So it's tough to say. Nothing on the horizon really looks too exciting, in my opinion.
No.
Arthur Jones, real quick.
Ahead,
Arthur Jones sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, I heard the beginning of this live stream, and oh my God, that guy was being a crybaby. Oh, wow.
I was just giving my opinion, man. That hurts. Oh, he's not talking about me?
Maybe he's talking about Jargo.
Must have been.
I think it was. Actually, hold on. I'll let me check the Cavs score. I'll tell you.
Oh, I'm sure he's talking about me, but I was presenting logical facts today. You know, he doesn't understand.
Of course,
but
naturally.
Robbie, question for you, because you said that the Punk and Bryan stuff was like the biggest botch in wrestling history, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, granted, maybe they can make up for it depending on how things happen from here on out. But who's responsible for that?
Tony Khan.
Okay.
Yeah.
The EVPs or Tony Khan?
Tony Khan.
Okay. This
because
here's the thing. Thanks for answering that. That's all.
Yeah. So the EVPs very well could be like, hey man, I don't think we should be dropping it to a WWE guy. Yeah. But at the end of the day, Tony Khan is the boss, and and that's my biggest critique of Tony Khan. I don't know if he can tell people no. But,
you know, to their credit, last night on Dynamite, they're stirring some stuff up now with both of those guys.
There were good things that happened.
Yeah,
absolutely. Like, they need to earn my trust back, and they might do so in the next 30 days. We'll see. Yeah,
which you'll talk about that later, right?
Yes.
That's a great case study. So, Aaron, of course, you know me. Before we move to the main event, it's the Roman Reigns thing. I mean, what wrestler has been on the Tonight Show in 2021, Jimmy Fallon, which it's not the Johnny Carson show. It's not the Jay Leno show, the David Letterman show, but for today's standards, it's still the cream of the crop.
Wait. Are we pretending like that was good?
Yeah. Tell me why it wasn't good.
Insane.
Tell me why it wasn't
Roman Reigns sitting on the couch laughing it up with Jimmy Fallon is good?
Sure,
you should have been out there been like, Jimmy Fallon, you little bitch, acknowledge
They don't do that anymore. That's the thing. He's already cut interviews
and
promos.
That's why nobody gives a damn. That's the freaking
They all
problem,
do
Virtue.
it, but
That's the problem right there.
They all do it.
Example.
They're not your Japan.
Wow.
Like they don't do it like they do in Japan. They
That's
don't.
why it sucks, bro.
But
Damn.
why, then okay.
You think
I don't know
MJF
what
can
you're
go
saying.
sit on the couch and yuck it up with freaking Jimmy Fallon? Hell no. Why is
But-
MJF over? Because he doesn't do
Just so
that.
you know,
crap.
that whole platform last night, it's going to happen at some point. Rock and Roman. The seeds were planted there. That's what that was all designed for. Whether Jargo,
I can't believe anybody believes that was a good appearance for
First
Roman
of
Reigns.
all, I wanted him to be in character because you remember the Arsenio Hall show back in the day when they all went on there in character, right? I don't know if you remember that, but Aaron,
are
you do,
trying
right?
to sell
I do.
tickets? Are
Yeah.
you trying to sell subscriptions to the cock? Do you want people to pay attention to what you're doing? Roman Reigns just came across like a freaking, I'm just happy to be here, Jimmy.
That's Big G's line.
Terrible.
Yeah, that's Big G's line.
Terrible.
And yet he's going to headline a 6th WrestleMania, and they're going to still do numbers because that's what they
What did
do.
he freaking do?
And it's going to do better than New Japan, Wrestle Kingdom, all 3 nights. I mean, that's just how it is. Jargo.
You know what? We'll
But-
necessarily see about that one.
That was a hot take right there, Jargo. Now, real quick, we do have some super chats. Mr. Tito apparently saved the day here because ever since he sent out that super chat, all these super chats are coming in. Psycho
Well,
Jet
God
Black
bless
sent
Mr.
in a
Tito.
$2.
Prayers to him.
Prayers from Mr. Tito.
Yes.
Psycho Jet Black sent in $2. Says, "Is Madcap Moss more over than Jimmy Fallon?" Anybody want to take on
Yeah,
that?
I can answer that. I have no idea who one of them is, and the other one is Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah.
All right,
And
then.
before
I have
before
no
that
idea
aired-
who one of them is, and Tina Fey made the other one's career.
Jargo, before that even aired
Also
last
true.
night, before that aired last night, I tweeted, I'm like, how many silly, giggly, goofy laughs is Jimmy Fallon going to do? And right on cue, my followers replying like 13, 17. Like you knew it was going to be goofy because if you've ever watched a Jimmy Fallon show, it's just goofy.
Roman Reigns should have put him through his freaking desk last night.
Yeah, well, he didn't, but again, it was a John Cena type appearance, right? He's trying to be like John Cena.
And that's great if you're the lead baby face.
Well, you know what? Didn't they just announce, Aaron, the whole Make-A-Wish thing with Roman? Didn't he do something the most this year or something like that, which is what Cena used to do? It's not a surprise.
Again, great if you're the lead baby
But
face.
again, it's not a surprise.
Well-
They didn't bring the SmackDown character to the table on the Peacock, and they brought the goody Roman, Make-A-Wish Roman.
And Roman's
that's-
actually
that's
a
a
good dad. Roman
Yeah.
trolls his daughter.
That's a
takes
fault,
her to
Jargo. You're
school and
absolutely
then puts
right.
on "All I Want for Christmas Is You" by Mariah Carey.
But the
to
fact that
troll his own
he
daughter.
was still on the Tonight Show. That's my point. I'm not going to sit here and clamor that it was this great piece of work.
To be
But
fair,
no other wrestler was on there this year, right?
well, Virtue,
That I know of.
but was Roman Reigns on the Rosie O'Donnell show when he was 8 years old saying he was going to be a professional wrestler and champion?
Yes, he
Because
was.
MJF was.
Was that the 90s?
Oh,
Early
yeah.
2000s?
Oh, when she was like flinging the little cush balls in the audience.
So obviously, yeah, my number one is still the Bloodline. Aaron, more super chats. We'll move to the main event.
All right. We do have a couple here. So Arthur Jones, he wanted to clarify that it was in fact you, NoDQ Virtue, that he was talking about as far as being a crybaby.
Good, because that's exactly what I intended, and he paid to tell me that now. Thank you.
But he also said I was his favorite. So.
Like, if you saw how we prepare the show each week, you would see that in the notes I had, let's lead off the show with drama. I mean, I literally said that because I never do it. Again, I was getting my final troll slay off my chest, so I don't have to do this anymore. So I can just talk wrestling opinion. Okay? Thank you for giving me this platform. Aaron, back to you.
All right. And we have a $2 super chat from Davi. He says, Madcap Moss is more over than New Japan wrestlers. Whoa, Jargo.
Look, I don't watch New Japan, and I don't buy that for a second. So.
Shinsuke Nakamura would like a word.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat, says, is Madcap Moss more over than Rift Aronson? That I will say yes.
I thought Rift Aronson was dead.
He is, which is why Madcap Moss is more over than him.
Right, Rift Aronson is dead. Troll Slayer is now dead, unless somebody else picks it up. But from my point of view, it's nothing but prayers. And, you'll get a hot Virtue every once in a while when I'm passionate about a topic. But right? It's time. I'm 41 now, by the way. I turned 41 last month. So, we got to put some stuff in the past. Aaron, we got to be caught up by now.
41. You got more hair than me. That's not fair.
Ready for the main event?
Almost. We got a couple more super chats here. Walter Cruz with a $5 super chat. And well, this is what happens when you spend the first 20 minutes ranting and raving.
No, it was 12 minutes and 30 seconds. I was looking at the clock. I was going to make it go 15, but I cut it short.
Well, that was very nice of you. Walter Cruz says, if Virtue going face, then I'm going heel, and Virtue can sick me on anyone he needs me to get. There you go. You got Walter Cruz as you're Diesel. You're Shawn Michaels. He's Diesel. He's got.
I want what just happened with Jargo and me there. He calls me out or calls something out I like, and I come back at him and we at the end we both said what we needed to say. Nobody hates each other. That's
not the message he sent our chat. He actually said,
but Jargo knows what I'm talking about there. That's what I want, right?
Yeah.
So. And Mike D sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you, Mike D. He says, I still have a strange feeling that The Rock shows up after the Roman Reigns and Big E match.
Oh,
it would be nice.
That's what it'll take.
Prayers, right? Virtue, prayers, but I don't think it's going to happen, man.
I just like the fact that it was kind of like alluded, like even if it's a down the road thing, at least that was a Roman literally said, I'd like it. I don't know if he would. Jargo, that popped me, right? That was the only big takeaway for me there. I was looking for something like that.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Random off topic. Virtue, I wanted to tell you this. I saw something that Matt Riddle did that I loved, and that was his Halloween costume of Rocky Maivia. Just wanted to throw it out there.
Wow, that you actually liked. And it was goofy, something goofy too.
And it was perfect. I just wanted to throw it out there.
Look, you know what? He had to probably try that on for Vince in his office.
He probably did. He probably did some dabs in a closet, put that on, and went and talked to Daddy Vince.
Yeah. All right, Aaron, we caught up here?
We got a couple more. Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat says, is Madcap Moss more over than Nickelback? No.
Nickelback.
Sure.
Nickelback as a Canadian band actually gets Canadian. I believe up in Canada, you have to have a certain % of all of the music played is Canadian music. So they actually get played a lot up in Canada. And again, no one knows who Madcap Moss is.
I actually like Nickelback. I know that might make me lose some cool points with most of the people here, but
that's okay. It's all right. You're allowed. You're allowed to like what you want.
Yeah. And Davi sent in a $2 super chat, says Roman Reigns draws more than New Japan ever will.
I don't believe that to be true on any plane of existence, with the exception of American television. If you actually go and you look at attendance figures for New Japan Pro Wrestling versus attendance figures for the WWE, I think that you would be very surprised that New Japan typically blows them out of the water, with the exception of their big pay-per-views and massive football stadiums.
Well, not recently, because of the way they can only have every third seat, right?
Well, yeah, but New Japan selling one of every third seat is still drawing more tickets than what the WWE is.
You might have to give me some numbers.
It's absurd how bad WWE draws have been here lately.
You might have to give me some numbers on that. I'm just curious.
Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence.
We caught up, Aaron?
I think we are caught up finally.
Right. Finally, Survivor Series is this weekend. Okay, guys. And we've talked about this, and I gave Full Gear props because stuff was actually on the line. And I absolutely hate the fact that there's nothing on the line anymore. I don't care about Raw versus SmackDown bragging rights. They used to have that as a pay-per-view, and it sucked. I don't care. Now, do I want to see Roman and Big E because I'm a Roman mark? Yes. But there's nothing, I don't care. Nothing's on the line. We need a change. Survivor Series either needs to go away. We need to go back to something where it's on the line. Aaron, remember 1990? At the end, all the heels that won and all the baby faces that won, at least you had a little war match at the end. Sure, nobody won anything, but it kind of made that show feel like it had some type of accomplishment. Deadly Game, a tournament. Now, I know that kind of killed King of the Ring after that, but just when titles actually were on the line at Survivor Series. Jargo, nothing's on the line, and I know you said it was probably always the worst of the main pay-per-views, so I'll let you go and rant on this topic first.
You're absolutely right, man. When you talk about Full Gear, and one of the things that you liked about it was the stakes on the matches, right?
Yeah,
there was a point to the matches. Unfortunately, with Survivor Series, when there's no stakes other than bragging rights over another brand that's part of the same company, nobody really freaking cares, especially when you look at Team Raw, and all of those guys would have been on Team SmackDown like 3 weeks ago. You can't do the draft and then do brand versus brand and try to sell that. It just doesn't work in any way, shape, or form. Survivor Series has been a flawed system for a very, very long time. At this point, it feels just like Hell in a Cell, where it's like, oh, it's November, we've got to do Survivor Series. And so they just throw it together. Somebody in the chat had said that they announced Tony Storm is going to be on Team SmackDown on Twitter. And it's just like, they do realize that not everybody on the face of the planet gets their Twitter notifications, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's mind-boggling, the approach of this company lately.
Dude, Jargo, is this legacy of Survivor Series? I mean, what is it? The Montreal Screwjob? I mean, what is the legacy of Survivor Series? Does it even have one? The Undertaker's debut?
I think that's the thing, right? Like, to me, the legacy of Survivor Series was always that Thanksgiving tradition. Like, you would you go to grandma's house and you'd sit down, you have a big meal, you go home, you could watch Survivor. Like, it was special to be able to watch wrestling on a Thursday night. And then they kind of got away from that. And then they changed the format, and then they did away with it entirely, but just kept the name. And they've broken it down so far at this point that I think Survivor Series, the legacy of it is a collection of really, really cool moments that happened in November. And it just so happened to be at this show called Survivor Series.
Did we like the NXT when they won? Didn't NXT win a Survivor Series, Aaron, where they won most of the matches? Yeah, that like a few years ago. Was that cool? I don't know. I mean,
that's when NXT drew the best ratings the entire run of their USA Network run.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, before Aaron, Robbie, you big old. Remember we had some Survivor Series here in Cleveland in the late 80s?
Yeah, I do remember that.
1992 also. I was there.
So look, here's my thing, and another unpopular opinion. I hate the Royal Rumble, and I hate Survivor Series. They're right. I don't like the gimmicks. Like, the Royal Rumble sucks. Like, the Royal Rumble is like really cool. Like 3 minutes out of the whole match when like random people come out, and then the very end, right? The only way Survivor Series this year would be interesting, if you look at this card, it's not a bad card. But what if they finally said like, hey, this Survivor Series is only going to be every couple years? My cat ran because my cat knows I'm on camera and she's an attention whore. But well, if you look at this card, what if every match on this card was a unification match? That would add a lot of gravity to these matches.
Or at least the main two, the main two titles, the men's.
Or what if they did something like, let's say, like, my dream world is they get rid of the Royal Rumble because I don't like it. And Survivor Series is, okay, maybe the final, whoever wins Survivor Series, or if you're a sole survivor, you get a title shot. And if there's like 2 people left on the team, maybe the next night on Raw, they have a one-on-one match and that person is the number 1 contender. And you could actually have some stakes in it. And then you could have dissent on the other team and they could have some matches and some feuds go. I don't know, like wrestling and storytelling and like competent people writing things. But instead, we're just going to have a bunch of matches that don't matter. You might get one promo on Monday touting their victory from some jobber mid-carder guy over SmackDown, and then they'll never talk about it again.
Is there an even number of matches, Aaron? Could it literally end in a tie?
Alert. There's a cat alert.
Yes, my cat is running back and forth. She has decided that she wants to be on
Robbie,
TV.
Seriously, how do they not, with all this real-life drama, if this is true, how do they not have Charlotte versus Becky title for title? How did they drop that ball, man?
That's what I'm saying. Like I talk about Tony Khan with that. Vince is, it's just WWE isn't so much bad as it is. It's just lazy. They're like, they will do just enough to get the 2 million people watching, sell some merch. You know what I mean? They'll churn out more wrestlers. they'll have some random guy come out and all of a sudden he'll be hot for 3 months and then he'll go down to NXT and eventually appear on AEW. Like it's AEW, or I'm sorry, WWE at this point is just it's a corporate machine that just churns out just crap. Everyone tells me, they're like, oh, they call me an E-drone because I have complaints about AEW and things like that. I'm pretty sure I've hated on WWE more than most people on the reviews.
Now you're an AEW sexual.
And now I have heard that. That's funny. But I don't know, man. Like, I'm excited for the Charlotte match because I want to. And here's the thing:
see if they're professional or not.
But deep down inside of me, I feel that this could be a work. They could have had a little spat in the back, and they're just working off it. But Becky and Charlotte are just so convincing and good at what they do because guess what? They're good characters that now we have compelling TV.
Dude, and Becky's even working Rick, dude. I mean, if
that, or that whole interview where they interviewed Becky. It's like, do you trust her? No. Do you expect her to do the right thing? No. Like stuff like that in wrestling is the most compelling kind of storylines we have these days, and I want to see more of it. That's why, as much as I dislike Riddle, I would like to see him in there with Lesnar or Goldberg because I think it could get a little bit rough. Yep. And I think, again, I'd be sitting there with my popcorn going, I hope shit goes down. Right. And if it does, I'd be happy.
That's my money with Riddle, though. Like, if he never changes, I'm just going to eat crow on this one, Robbie. But if they can turn him, especially against Orton, when you never think that would happen, and he drops that gimmick and is like, legit, dude, I'm here to kick ass. Then I could be like, yes, they finally got something right with letting somebody do something different.
I think part of the problem with Survivor Series is just the WWE TV format at this point too, because it used to be that they had a TV show and all the different characters would kind of interact with one another, and you knew who was friends, you knew who didn't like one another. Right. So when it came time for picking teams, it would make sense that this person and this person are going to team up because they're boys backstage. Right now, everything is done so Saturday Night Live style, where it's like segment. There's no overlap. Everybody's involved in their own creative programs. Nobody talks to one another, and it seems like none of the baby faces have any friends. Right. When they're getting their ass kicked in the ring, nobody comes to make the save because nobody likes to hang out with the baby faces. So that is, to me, is one of the biggest problems with Survivor Series at this point, because now they just name the teams and there's not even any intrigue there.
Did they do the thing this year where like they show up on each other's brands in their different colored t-shirts to fight each other? And their Saudi Arabia t-shirts.
Actually,
the ones the women have to wear. That's what I'm saying, but at least they didn't do that, so I guess that's a plus. I guess.
Yeah. But,
Aaron, by the way, I think Solemn Minister or whatever, I think his show must have ended because our viewers bumped up a little bit because we were up against some competition this evening. And Aaron, I don't think you've answered on this one yet. I mean, you've talked about it before, I'm sure, but you want to add anything to this? Well, and it's boring.
Well, it is boring.
Yeah.
Couple things here. Psycho Jet Black with another $2 super chat. Thank you. Says, is Madcap Moss more over than Retribution? Ooh, that's a tough one.
The answer is still no, because I know people in Retribution. I still have no idea who this
is. And again, Dominic Dijakovic stole my middle name, so that has some weight to it.
This dude has spent like $10 or $12 talking about Madcap and not any of these other guys. So maybe he's changing the flow of the ocean there. You know what I mean? Maybe Madcap is over.
At this point, I think Madcap's going to surpass Bart Gunn for overness on the NoDQ.
Remember when we used to talk about Bart Gunn all the time? I mean, Aaron, I really didn't know what we were going to talk about this week. I was really pressing for topics. I mean, shoot, I had to, have a little tiff with you but I'm glad the NoDQ Galaxy stuck with us. I mean, here we are rolling about an hour 5. I know Robbie's got to take off soon.
Yep.
Yeah, I got about a half hour.
His cat wants some attention, so we can't go on too long.
That's true. So, she goes to the vet Saturday, so she's going to hate me.
Anything else for you?
Well, first of all, I need to ask you this. So the WWE fans are called E-drones, and the AEW fans, they're either AEW sexuals. What's the other one? The cultists.
Yeah, I don't know. I like that word cult. I mean, I don't care if someone. No, you know what? Yesterday, I wouldn't mind if somebody called me a cultist, but now I would say shame on you, blasphemy. But
yeah,
I don't know. It's the internet, Aaron. That's why there's these sides and there's weird names and this division of fan bases. That's people all
I mean,
have
it'd
their
be,
phone
it'd be
in front
cool
of them.
if like wrestling was popular beyond the bubble, but it kind of seems lame when it's
And
just
see, Jargo, when I see Roman on Jimmy Fallon, as bad as it was,
oh, here we go again.
to me, okay, yes, that's like the last guy clinging on to let's try to get some casual viewers. Again, he has a WWE machine, Peacock, NBC behind it, but that's why I get a tickle out of that stuff, because I remember when wrestlers were on all the talk shows and it was beyond just this wrestling fan base. I don't know. Remember WCW? We got to see a 3-ringed Royal Rumble in November. What was that called, Aaron, back then?
War Games?
War Games, yeah. And as lame as that might have been, a copy off the Royal Rumble, fans were still like, yeah, it's Survivor Series and World War III month. And now people are like, it's the bubble, Aaron, just like you said. That's all that cares about wrestling.
But what you had last night, right, was Aaron Lewis from Stained going out and playing one of his country songs on the Jimmy Fallon show and saying, go out and buy the new Stained album. It's really, really heavy, right? Like it was so disconnected from what you're getting. And that's the problem with WWE at this point.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I liked Aaron Lewis's country stuff too, but I totally get what you're saying. It'll never be as good as the Stain stuff.
It's just it's like false advertising.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
look at me, I'm this good old wholesome. Like I'm John Cena's replacement. Tune into SmackDown where I'm a fucking
dude.
dick.
But you know what? Though?
Everybody,
listen.
What?
In the past year or two, we've seen the Undertaker do shoot interviews. It's over.
And he's lost that mystique.
It's
absolutely
over. For him, at least he's done, allegedly. But yeah, and it's Hall of Fame bound, I'm sure. But it's done, man. They're told to go out there and act like the employee guy, not the character.
And
at the end of the day, he's
now.
What's that, Aaron?
Undertaker's half canceled now because he's always doing his interviews in his Blue Lives Matter t-shirts.
Nuts. Super chat come in?
Yeah, we got a couple here. Psycho Jet Black, he said, is Madcap Moss more over than Bart Gunn? Well, like I said, I think Psycho
Bart Gunn
Black
making a comeback to the review. Yeah.
Now, maybe Bart Gunn will make a comeback now. If people start super chatting about Bart Gunn, he can surpass Madcap Moss. And Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you. It says, E-Drones versus AEW Sexuals in a War Games Inferno match.
That sounds like a movie you don't want to show up on your cable bill.
Yeah, you might be right on that one.
Who do we think, Aaron, who is the most super chatted wrestler name for the NoDQ review?
EC3. I would have to say. I mean, in the years I've been doing this, man, there was like a 3-year period where I think that's because that TJS was like in love with him, right? And then he would always bring him up and people would.
You don't think Ricochet passed him?
I don't know, man. EC3 was like a huge meme on this show for like years. Ricochet has been like maybe the last 6 to 8 months, but EC3 has been a meme for quite a while. That guy's been a joke on this show forever.
Right. It's hard to say, but EC3, Ricochet, Bart Gunn, and now Madcap Moss. Madcap Moss has a ways to go.
Unfortunately, also Chris Benoit. If you look at any of the voting for the Hall of Fame stuff, that guy always seems to get like almost there every time.
Yeah. But yeah, Survivor Series, it's crap. I really don't care if they get rid of the pay-per-view concept. I used to love it as a kid, but now I don't even care if it disappeared. It just doesn't feel like anything special. And maybe it's because there's a pay-per-view every month. I don't know, but they just put so little effort into it. And the show will be good. I'm sure it'll be a good show, but man, it just doesn't have that hype machine. WWE used to be so good at hyping up these shows and getting people excited, and they don't even put the effort out. But why
Could
even
you
bother?
imagine if Charlotte or Becky was on the Tonight Show last night and the other one actually showed up and they actually did an angle? Like that,
Andy
Dargo,
Kaufman
that's
and
what we're
Jerry
missing.
Lawler?
Exactly.
That's what we're missing.
Even in WCW, like Hogan and
DDP,
Jay
right?
Leno and DDP did stuff on the Tonight Show.
And Aaron, if you turn on your Twitter notifications, like if you go and you click the little bell on the WWE page, then you'll get the full hype machine.
I guess so. Yeah, you just get like their 100 videos a day of all their classic matches and whatnot. and their top 10 lists that everybody argues over when it really doesn't matter.
Well, we made it through. So, this time now we're going to go through and do our plugs, and maybe we'll just, in fact, get out of here. So, Robbie, I'll come over to you first. You know the drill.
I have an announcement. Here.
Yeah.
So, guys, I'm going to talk directly to the NoDQ universe here. I have been doing this, I think, about 5 years now. You guys have hated me, and it's been fun. But what's happening now is I feel that I have become trapped in an echo chamber where I am entrenched. I'm 36. I'm going to be 37 here soon. I'm getting entrenched in my ways. I'm not looking at new things. So starting basically today, what's going to be happening with me in the future is I am no longer watching any wrestling, except I'm going to be watching 100% of AEW shows, which means I'm going to be watching Rampage. I'm going to be watching Dark. I'm going to be watching Dynamite for the next month. I'm going to watch every single show. I'm going to follow it. And I am not going to be looking at my Twitter nearly as much for wrestling opinions. I'm going to see if I just give it a chance, I block everything out, if I can change my mind on modern wrestling and AEW. So I will be back with you guys sometime close to Christmas with an update of how that's going. But, follow me on my Twitter at @TheRobbieVice. I may post some little snippets here as I go through that. But yeah, I mean, it's been, I can't believe it's been like 5 years. I remember back in the day, I used to get in arguments with Virtue, and we would block each other and have big blowouts. And then we finally figured it out.
Why do I not remember that? I don't remember blocking you. You must have blocked me.
I did. Yeah.
Okay.
I absolutely
He was just
did.
slaying you, Robbie. You were trolling him. You had to say.
I mean, that's like that's back in like 2014 when all that stuff was going down. So that was pretty early on, and I wasn't even Robbie Vice thing. So, but no. So I look forward to coming back. Hopefully, a little bit more refreshed, maybe a little bit more positive. But I'm just curious to see where this little social experiment goes, because I do miss. I always say I'm a casual fan. I miss the feeling I get when I'm so excited to see a match, or I rewatch the promos, and that I lost my smile like Shawn Michaels, man. And I'm hoping that just doing this will just make my content better. It'll make me a better panelist on these, and it'll just be more fun going forward. So wish me luck, everyone. And if I could get one $5 super chat for a Robbie Vice from anyone, I will feel a lot better.
Robbie, I want to ask you this, because is that a Chicago Bears hat?
No, this is a Cleveland Guardians hat.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
I know. Who here is a Chicago Bears fan? Anybody?
God, I hope no one.
Because Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat. One of you will have to answer this, because I'm not the sports guy. He says, is Madcap Moss more over than the Chicago Bears?
Yes, and go Pat, go.
All right, well, there you have it. Madcap Moss more over than a professional football team.
All right, well, thank you, Robbie. Over to you now, Jargo.
You can find me across social media platforms at NotJargo, MichaelJargo.com, DestinoPod.com, at MarkMedia.com. I'm just a podcasting whore. If you got a podcast, chances are I'll do it.
Wear protection.
That's
nice.
No fun.
Hashtag
Bareback Podcast. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And that's actually a pool table behind him. That's not like one of those fake backdrops.
Nope, it's real.
Yep. Thanks for being on. Okay, over to you, Aaron.
Well, who does fake pool backdrops?
There's all kinds. Yeah, there's all kinds, like for like the Microsoft Teams and all that stuff. Yeah. Okay, over to you, King of Trolls.
Well, thank you for that. This Sunday is Survivor Series. I'll be doing live coverage, and I don't know if this debate is ever going to happen. I wanted to make it happen, but Virtue said he's busy, if you want to believe him or not. Tito did not respond, so maybe they were both trolling me. Quite possible. They like to work me. They like to blow up my
I can't do it this Saturday, Aaron, but I can do it on a day that I'm available, and I want to do it. Robbie just vouched for me.
I got winner.
All right, well, okay. I would like a debate, but it never seems to work out.
Well, you debate me, Aaron. Do you want to have a debate with me?
I don't want to debate.
The debates don't work out because Tito can't grasp that I was a dick on Twitter on purpose. Not just him, but to a lot of people. Okay. And he gets mad at me because of that, right? That was all a work to rile him up. That's why these don't happen, right? So blame me then. Blasphemy on me, Aaron. For maybe
Fire
maybe it is my fault, right? Because I'm the one that riled him up on Twitter to make him so mad. This thing just drags out all the time. But I'm willing to do it. Just on a day I can do it.
Well, I want to see it happen, but these two guys, for whatever reason, they're talking, and we just don't get it done.
Are you giving this the highly unlikely in all likelihood?
Probably. I really don't think it's going to happen. And
well, like it takes
want
two to
be
tango, and I'm out on the dance floor. I'm waiting for the other person.
Well, Tito, quit trolling. Let's make a debate happen, because I think everybody wants to just have it done. We finally settled the score. You know, the last two were neck and neck. I think honestly they were neck and neck. They were close.
And we've had like those videos between him and I. We didn't have like any blow-ups, right? I mean, we disagreed or whatever, but like, so we obviously coexisted. There's something about that Twitter app. Demons come out, you know, whatever. And I'm trying to see the light now.
I know. So prayers for Mr. Tito. Maybe he will answer the challenge. Maybe he'll even take the mask off on the video and swerve us all. And he's actually like a 70-year-old man under that mask and shock everybody.
It's Johnny Gargano who blocked me on Twitter.
And wouldn't that be something if Mr. Tito was like some kind of old wrestler from the 1970s?
Zoom in on that picture from AEW. Do we know for sure that wasn't Mr. Tito holding up his own sign?
That might have been Mr. Tito holding up his own sign.
Wait, was that Columbus? Where were
Was
they?
it?
That night? I don't know.
No, it was.
I don't know where
was
Tito
Minneapolis, but well,
he lives in the Midwest.
well, maybe he went to Minneapolis and held up his own sign.
Nobody goes to
maybe-
Minneapolis willingly at this point.
No,
Aaron, are you caught up on the super chats? I mean, we can go.
Yeah,
home
we're
now.
caught up. I'm ready to wrap it up. Very interesting show tonight for sure.
Yeah, well, it is slow news week, so I wanted to spice it up. But going forward, you're going to have Virtue, the moderator, Saint Virtue. Go over on Twitter and
time here.
go. Yeah, Aaron's going to have to change that, but you know what? We'll have a new design coming up very soon, and you'll definitely love this one. Definitely check out NoDQ merch, nodq.com/merch very soon. But be sure to follow me on Twitter. And if you're cool, I might follow you back, right? No more slaying of trolls, none of this, at NoDQ_virtue. But for Jargo, for Robbie Vice, for the king of trolls, Aaron Rift, the troll slayer is retired, right? You still are going to get Virtue's rage once in a while, blah, blah, blah. The debate king, that's all going to happen. But let's talk about wrestling. Let's share opinions. Let's not belittle one another. Thank you for listening, NoDQ Galaxy, and we will see you again after Thanksgiving.
Bye.